Hello everyone. So very good morning and good evening. Okay guys, let's start the session. Just a minute. Before that, let me share my screen. Okay guys. So what we have done in the last session. So just we discussed about what is a Snowflake, and then just we created a trial account in Snowflake, and so we saw some of the the implementations and features in a Snowflake, right? So now, so what we will do is, so from today, so we will start the session. The topics our regular topics, so in Snowflake. So here first session what we are going to do is, so I'm requesting everyone, so by watching like yesterday's demo video, you can create a trial account. So if anyone not created, so please create a trial account from today onwards. So what we are going to discuss here, right, the same thing you need to implement it in your
Hello.
that account. Okay, so now, so let's, if you wanted to log into account, what you have to do, so just go to this particular the link, so which we have created, right, the same link. So you can access it from this a cloud, right? So same link you can access it from anywhere, right? And only the thing is you require a laptop and you require a internet connectivity, right? So when you click on this link, you will get the username. It will ask the username. What the username I have given? I have given Snowflake 8 username, and then I have given a password. I'm providing a password here. Then click on sign in, right? Now, sorry, it will take us to our the user interface. This is the classic user interface. Classic user interface. When you create a trial account, by default you are going to get the Snowsite Futures user interface. Snowsite user interface, it looks different when you created a trial account. Don't worry about that. If you wanted to so come to the classic user interface, so what you have to do is go to the profile and change your user settings to default experience. Now just observe this. So how it looks like when you go to Snowflake, Snowsite user interface, this is the user interface, how it looks like. See this one, right? This is your classic user interface, right? And so when you wanted to change it to your this classic user interface, then what you need to do is, here when you created a trial account, you can able to see this. What you need to do, go to this, so click on the account admin icon here, the top left hand side, and then go to the profile and change your default experience from snow site to classic user interface. So when you created account, you need to do this. Then you can able to see this one, see this, the futures which you are seeing it here in the classic user interface, right? This is very user friendly to work, and it is the oldest so user interface. And so we have, so most of the things it is very so user friendly and then very handy. Now if you observe here, so what we discussed, like here, this is a navigation panel left hand side. You can able to see all the databases and the schemas, and then tables, objects, and everything you can able to see it here. That is in a worksheet. When you click on worksheet, so you, if you wanted to write a query, you are going to write a query here in this workspace. And that the worksheet top right hand side here, this one, this is related to worksheet. This is related to ribbon, or so we can call it as a the tab. So this one, so this is related to worksheet. You can observe what is accounts, and then so details, right? You can able to see it here. It means who is the role, what is the role, and then what is the virtual warehouse, and then what is the database, and then what is the schema it is connected. When you click on a plus symbol, new worksheet will open. New worksheet will open. Again, if you wanted to connect it to specific database, you can select a database here, and then you can select a schema here. So that's how it will connect to that particular specific database, specific schema. Okay, so now, so our requirement today is, what we are going to do is, so here, if you observe, we have one is, so this is text file. Another one is, so this is So Excel file, comma separated file, CSV file. If you observe, see this one, comma separated value file, and then this is a Excel file. Whatever the data we have in this particular text file, see this particular data, we wanted to load it into our Snowflake tables. Snowflake tables. So if you wanted to load the data into Snowflake tables, so what we required, what we need to do, if you wanted to load data, what we required, we should have table structure. If you wanted to require, if you wanted to create a table structure, where we will create this table structure? In schema. Where this schema will be available? Schema will be available in a database. So before loading the data into the table, right, the schema should be there, database should be there. Then only we can able to load the data to this particular table, right? So now if you observe, if you wanted to create any database here, observe this one here, we can able to see this database which you have created in the previous session, right? So if you wanted to create again, let's observe how we can able to do it. If you come to the database here, and so here if you observe, so this is a database, click on a database icon, and so here this one we created, we will create it again, select the database. If you wanted to drop it, see this one, drop, just use a drop, it's gone. Now it is not available here. If you observe, you refresh it, see this, these are the default databases Snowflake has given for our practice purpose. Okay, we will come to this now. Based on our requirement, if you wanted to load this particular file data into the table, table should be available, table where it will be available within a schema, schema where it will be there, it in a database, right? Let's create a database here for our class purpose. Here we have, click on a database icon, this one, database icon, and observe this, create database. Click on this, and then we are going to create. So what is the name we are giving? Class, database name as a class. And if you click on finish, what will happen? Database will be created. How it will be created? In the back end, whatever the selections we are giving, whatever the commands we are giving here in user interface, Snowflake is going to write a query for that in the backend. If you observe, show SQL, see this one, create database, database name, right? This is a query for us. Now, here when you are doing this, when you are loading the data from this file to our Snowflake table, without writing any query, we are going to load so data into the table by utilizing Snowflake user interface features. Just so we will see so how to like load the data without even loading the single query. So everything we will use a user interface options only here. Now see this database name we have given. Just click on finish, database is created. See this one, database is created. If the database is created, what will happen? So what we discuss within the database, by default, it will be created two schemas. If you observe, come to the worksheet, refresh it here, you can able to see the database when it has been created. See this one, the time, and then who is the owner of the database, account admin, this is a role, right? And then the time, and then database name. And if you click on the database, see this one is information schema, another one is public schema. By default, all the objects will be created in a public schema. Objects related information will be metadata kind of information. It will be available in information schema. At this moment, just remember, this is kind of metadata information will be there in a information schema now. Now, the public schema. This one, whatever the objects we are going to create, like tables, views, and so on, it will be available in a public. Now, we don't have any table here, right? The database is there, schema is there. if you wanted to create a table, then what you have to do, again, come to the database icon here, click on this database icon. Now here, see this one, all these other objects like the tables, views, schemas, stages, file formats, sequences, pipes, right? We have an option to create a table. Now click on create a table. So what is the data we have? If you observe this particular thing, see this one, employee ID, name, employee salary, age, location. And then this is the data related to the data, right? So when you observe here, this particular data, so we are trying to load the data into the table. Now this is related to employee related information. Now, this one we wanted to load, then what we will do, we will create the table name. Table name I have given as a EMP table, and the columns. See this one, by default, it selected public schema only, right? And create a columns. If you want comment why we are creating this table, we can give the comment, optional. And click on plus symbol. How many columns we have? 5 columns, right? Now, the columns, so let's create the columns here. Observe this, employee ID, come here, and this is the employee ID. It will be as a integer, right? This is a number, numeric, right? All the data types, whatever the data types we have there in SQL, the same data types, SQL data, the same the data types it is here also. We have some additional data types like to handle semi-structured data, we have a variant data type. Okay, we will discuss when you are working with a semi-structured files. Now employee name, string, and then we have employee salary. So we are creating all the column names and then giving the data types here. Let's give teacher. And then, so we have age. Now let's create this, and sorry, again, teacher. And then what is the other column we have? Location, right? From here, and then this is the location. Let it be. Now all the columns we have created, right? Just a minute. Now observe this. Click on finish. When I click on finish, what will happen here? Table will be created with the column names with these data types. If you wanted to see the backend based on the selection, whatever we have given here, how it will write a query in the backend. See this, when I click on show SQL, what we observed? Create table. So database name, and schema name, table name. This table is available in this schema in this schema is available in this table, sorry, database. And the column names, data types, the create table statement, right? Now this query will be executed in the backend, then the table will be created with this structure. Observe this one, just click on finish here. When you click on finish, table is created. Observe this one, table is created. If you wanted to see the table, so come to the worksheet here. Without refresh, it will not be reflected here. You need to refresh it. Now see this, table is available. Do you have any rows here? See this, what it is telling, 0, right? We don't have any rows. Now if you wanted to see the table, so just click on finish here. Observe this one, table is created. Being a query, if you want, sorry,
We lost your voice, Ganesh.
now is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, fine. If you want, for example, here, so if you wanted to load the data into the table, so we are going to, generally what will happen, we are going to use
Start.
insert into table, right?
No,
Generally,
it's not
just a
sharing. We
minute.
Sir,
cannot
we
scroll
Yeah,
we
yeah,
down.
yeah.
lost your
Sorry,
screen,
sorry.
sir.
Think it got reconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, guys, can you so able to view my screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Now, if you observe here, see this one. So we have the table, right? So when you click on the table, so we have a structure, but we don't have any data in this. See this one, the rows is zero. If you wanted to load any data into this table, what you will do generally, we are going to use insert into table, right? Instead of that, so if you wanted to load whatever the data is available in this particular file, the complete file, if you wanted to load into this particular table, how to do that? Let's observe this. So we are going to use only user interface options only. We are not going to use any the SQL queries here. So in this particular session, now observe this. Again, come to the database icon. When you come to the database icon, come click on the database. When you click on the database, it will show us the table. See this, there is no rows here. We don't have any data here. Just click on the table, or you have a load data into the table also. Here also we have a load data into the table, or you can just click on the table. Now see this one, load table, right? Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Thank you. Okay, so for example, if you observe here, see this, we have column names, right? And then we have a data types. And then it is asking to here load the table. Just click on this and see this one. It is giving. So what are the steps we need to perform here to load the data into the table? First is warehouse. This is nothing but your virtual warehouse, your virtual warehouse. Don't think that this is a data warehouse. This is not. Warehouse means nothing but you to calculate your computation charges, how much charges Snowflake will take from us. That will be decided by our the warehouse implementation, warehouse credit limit. If you observe here, see this, if you wanted to see that, click on the account. You can able to see this one, dev virtual warehouse. It consumed 0.30 credits. Based on the credits, it is going to charge from us. For example, if it is one credit, around $2, right? Like that. And then cloud services, so this the charges will be calculated, but we can ignore this cloud services charges. Now observe this one, based on the virtual warehouse, credits will be calculated like this. In our project, you may have n number of virtual warehouses. Let's assume that you in your project you will have n number of VDS. Just for example, to understand easily, if you in organization, so if you wanted to connect to any specific project, you will have each and every user will have a different systems and different VDAs, right? Or remote desktop. The same thing you can consider. So for a better understanding. Now, if you observe this here, the virtual warehouse which we have created with this some of the features we have created. It means the size, and then we have given some of the default clusters, and then we have created a virtual warehouse based on how much time we are utilizing the virtual warehouse. Snowflake is going to charge from us. How it will understand? If you come to the worksheet, see this one, by default virtual warehouse is selected, right? Now it is idle. It is not so active. See this one, small like radio button, right? If it is like the not green, then it is not active. If it is green, then only it will active. Then we are utilizing this, how much time we are utilizing, based on that charges will be applicable. Anyway, we will come to this again. Now what we are doing, trying to do, We trying to load the data into the table. Now click on load table, and if you observe, this is virtual warehouse, default virtual warehouse, let it be. And if virtual warehouse first time when you created a free trial account, you need to create a virtual warehouse. Without that, you cannot able to write a query. If you wanted to create a virtual warehouse, come to the virtual warehouse here, you have a create option as discussed yesterday. So don't go for extra large, it will consume more credit limits. Your trial account will be expired within 15 days only. Go for always the extra small. Okay, just give a name here and then take care of small selection of the small and then click on finish. That's it, your virtual warehouse will be created. Okay, now already we have created a one virtual warehouse. We are going to utilize the same virtual warehouse. Now let's come to database here. Here click on a load table. When you click on a load table, it is asking which virtual warehouse I have to utilize. Okay, and so let's say for example, you assume that you have 10 systems with a different configurations. One is like 8 GB RAM, one is 4 GB RAM, one is 16 GB RAM. The configuration and performance will be depends on the system configuration, right? Performance is depends on system configuration. Based on your work, you will have a option to choose your like configuration systems. So based on that, the same way here, you have to choose. So which virtual warehouse? Here only it is showing one because we created only one. But normally, so in when we are working, so we will see that how to create a multiple virtual warehouses, how to choose that, how to choose the sizes also. Now this is, so let it be whatever we are having. And next, click on next. Source file. Where is our source file? It is available in our system. This is the path, right? The source file is available in this particular path, right? So this is the file. Now we need to pick this file. This is available in my system, right? Now this we will call it as a local files, right? Local files. Now another option is we can able to load the data from any cloud also. That we will call it as a external. We will call it as a external stages. For example, if your file is available in AWS cloud, GCP cloud, or Azure, then we are going to select this particular option. See this one, external stages, right? When you are selecting from the local system, we will call it as a internal stages. We will come to that. So what are the different stages we have? In the next session, we will discuss about that. Now, so this one, if you wanted to see what are the external stages it is available, just click on plus symbol. You can able to observe, see this one, GCP, Azure, AWS S3, and then Snowflake. All these things is available, right? Okay, now so we will come to this so later when we are working with these cloud platforms. Now where is our file is available? In our local system. Click on select a file. Now it will ask you the path, so where we have to select. So click on this, and so we have here the file is available, right? This is the file. I selected the file and click open. Now the file is selected, right? This is a text file, and see this, click on next. Once your file is selected, click on next. Observe this, what it is asking, file format. What is a file format? This is required because we need to tell to Snowflake, so what is the format of the file? Why? Why it is required means, if you observe this file, see this one, this is a text file. If you observe this as a human, we can understand this is column names. First line is column names, and remaining lines is a data. And by seeing this, we can understand it is separated by each and every column separated by comma. See this one, each and every column is separating by comma. And when it is coming to the new line, this is a new line. This is a new line. When it is coming to the next line, we are going to consider as a new row, right? When it is coming to the new line, we are going to consider that as a new row, next row, right? As a human, we can understand this, but how come Snowflake will understand whether this is a comma delimited file or a in place of comma? If you have a pipe, that will be a pipe delimited file. In place of comma here in this particular file, if you have a tab, then that is a tab delimited file, right? It depends. So here is a comma delimited file. So by seeing that, we can understand that, but Snowflake has to understand, right? That's why we have to create file format here. We have to create file format. It is mandatory. When we are loading, we need to mention that which file format we are trying to load. To create a file format, till now we didn't created any file format. To create file format, click on this plus symbol. It will ask you the name. Just give file format, and we have schema name, public, default schema name, and observe this. Here one certification question. So if you observe format types, what is the default one? It is telling CSV, comma separated value. Okay, our file is also CSV file. We can consider that comma separated value here. Text file with a comma separated values. What are the other file formats Snowflake will support? Totally 6 file formats Snowflake will support. If you observe, first when you are remembering the file formats, remember the number first. Then you can so recall it. So what if you are missing anything, or if you are like how to remember that? See this one, 6. How many file formats we have? 6. So what are they? CSV, XML. We are very familiar with. So most of the guys we know about. So CSV, we heard about CSV and then XMLs. What about the other file formats here? See this JSON file, Avro file, ORC file, Pocket file, right? All these are semi-structured files. All these we will call it as a semi-structured files. These are the 6 file formats Snowflake will support. Okay, just a minute. Okay, now what is the file format? CSV, default, let it be. And compression method. What Snowflake will do is, when you are loading the file into our Snowflake, so what it will do is, it will compress the file data and then it will load. By default, it will take it as a compression, auto compression. It will be gzip format. We will see that in the next session. Gzip format, let it be default. Don't so change anything. We have some other different formats also. When you auto format, if you select, it will be like zipped into gzip format, and then some other like a different like a zip formats also it is available here. Let it be auto. And column separator. See this, what is separating in between the column to column? Comma is separating, right? In place of comma, if you have a file, a pipe, then we are going to mention a pipe. Now here, column separator as a comma. See this, what are the others we have? Vertical bar, like a pipe, and then tab separator. If you have any other separator like hash or at the rate or whatever it may be, you can select the others and then you can mention, right? Now, what is the separator here? Comma is the separator. And next, what it is asking? Row separator. Row separator is new line, right? This is a default. By default, when the new line is coming, you can consider that as a new row. And most important thing, another one, header lines to skip. Observe this one, header lines to skip. What is header here in the file? This is a header, right? If you observe, this is not your data, right? This is the data. This is column names, right? Column names already we created in a table structure here. When you created a table structure, we created this column names. This we should not consider that as a data. when you are loading this file, the first lines we need to skip because this is a header, right? That's why it is asking how many header lines to skip. You can mention one here. If you mention one, first line it will not consider. Let's say, for example, if you wanted to skip first two lines, first three lines from a file, first four lines from a file, what you have option is you have a option to increase the number, right? But the like a header, so header lines to skip, from the footer lines to skip, we don't have any option. So from the top only header lines to skip. If you want, you can skip first 10 rows. If you want, you can skip first 50 rows. That is option is available. But so what is our case here? So here header lines to skip is always it is one, right? Because first line is a column names. Okay. And field optionally enclosed by, these are the things by default let it be. If you observe, if you wanted to like a single quotes, if you wanted to escape, sometimes additional things will come, right? Double quotes and then single quotes, you can select this. Now let it be. Okay, so no need to worry about this. Remaining all are default thing. Now what are the main things we considered here? One is we have given a file format, the name of the file format. By default, it is selected a public schema, CSV, file type CSV, and then compression method, auto by default. Column separator we have given as a comma, and then row separator, it's a new line, and then header lines to skip is one. If you don't give that, this one also it will consider as a data. This employee ID, so name, it will be try to load it into this particular table. Then this one is a like number we created a data type, it will not allow, right? It will be like give the error. So header lines to skip, what we have given one, right? Remaining options default. Now what we have done, we created a file format. If you observe, based on this selection, what is the like SQL command it has created in the backend? See this one, see this, create file format. In this database schema, table name, file format is CSV, compression method, whatever the options we selected there, it has given the complete information, right? Okay, now so let's close this one and click on finish. File format we created. What we have done now, file format we created this particular file format. So you select, if you select, every time you are telling to Snowflake when this particular file format is selected, so you can use the same file format for n number of times for same CSV files, same comma separated files. No need to create again, right? Now in this case, when you select this particular file format, what Snowflake will understand is this particular file is comma separated file. You need to skip first header line, right? It has to treat it as a CSV file, right? And then compression method, by default it has to take. Remaining everything will be default, it has going to take it, right? That is a file format. Now we
Okay,
created a
Dipesh.
file format. Now what is the next step? Observe this, load options. When I click on next, we have got a load options. Observe this. By default, we have four different load options is available. It means when you are loading this particular file data into our EMP table, in between, if you get any error, if you get any error, how to treat this error? Do you want it to continue loading valid? Do you want it to stop? Or do you want it to display the error? Or do you want it to just exit the process? Right? So this one by default option is stop loading, roll back and return the error. Observe this. What it is telling by default option, it will stop loading the data into the table and roll back. Roll back means whatever the data it has been loaded, it will not be committed, it will not be saved, and it is it will show us the what is the reason of the failure, right? That is Stop loading, roll back and return error. This is the default option. It is available. Another one, if you observe, do not load any data in a file. What it will do is it will just skip and it will not throw any error here. First option is it will not show any error, just it will like the stop the process. That's it. This one, it will not load, but it will stop it and then it will show us the error. This one, do not load any data in the file when error encounter exceeds. This is threshold limit. For example, so up to 2 errors, let it be allow. After that, stop the processing. After that, stop processing the data. See this one, if you give threshold limit 5, up to 5, it will allow. After that, it will stop, right? That is the meaning of this option. And continue loading valid data from the file. It means, for example, this is a file, right? If you have like a four rows here, two are valid, two are invalid, then it will load only two valid rows. Remaining rows it will not load. That is the meaning of continue loading valid data from the file. We will see each and every option. So further. Now, what is the default option which is available? Let it be. Select the same option, right? We selected the same option. And now observe this. We are clicking on a load option. We are trying to load the data into the table. Now see this, file is encrypted and then stage files is done. Then it is showing that rows parsed, rows loaded. Rows parsed means how many rows it picked from the file. How many rows it picked? 4. How many rows it's loaded to the table? 4. See this, loaded, the file has been loaded. It picked 4 from the file and then 4 has been loaded. Click OK and then observe, come back to the table. See this one, rows, it's updated. 4 rows, size, right? So if you wanted to see that, the data here, come to the worksheet, observe this, come to the worksheet, refresh it here. See this, just move the cursor on the table. What you observed, it is showing that 4 rows here, right? If you wanted to see the data, come here, click on this, so 3 dots, more options, and then you can able to see preview data. When you click on preview data, what it will give us, it will give the how many, so the data available in the table. There is a difference in preview data and then select star from table. When you use preview data, right, it will show us first 100 records only. It will show us only 100 rows only 100 rows. If you use select star from table, if the table is having 10,000 records, if the table is having 50,000 records, it will try to give the complete the rows. That is the difference. Okay, preview, it will show only 100, only first 100 rows. Select star from table, it will give the complete rows. That is the difference. So just so remember this one. So now what we have done, we have loaded the data into the table, right? You can able to see the data also, right? Whatever the data is available in this particular file, we have loaded. Now the same way, what we will do is we have another file here, right? If you observe this file, this is a Excel file. This one, comma separated value file, CSV file. Normal Excel SX files we cannot able to load. Snowflake will not support. If normal Excel file, so with the extension of Excel SX, then what you need to do is you need to convert that file into CSV. Then only we can able to load. If you wanted to convert, what you need to do is click on a file. You have a save as option. Save as, you will have, for example, so see this one here, the save type as CSV, comma delimited file. Always select the comma delimited file. So this one, right? Normally it will be with the, so Excel SX, right? So instead of that, you can select, so this particular comma delimited. So then it will be saved in the form of comma delimited file. So now, so once it is saved, then we can able to load, because Snowflake will not support so normal Excel files. So you have to convert into CSV files. Once it is converted, you can able to see the extension. So like, see this one, comma separated value file, right? Comma separated value file. Now our requirement is we wanted to load this particular data also. If you observe the same column names, employee ID, name, salary, age, and then location, the structure is already available, right? We wanted to load this data also into the table. Then what you need to do, observe this one, the same approach. So the same what we have done, the same way, come to the database and click on a table and click on a load table option. Now default, let it be warehouse, and select the next, select the file here, source file. This is the source file. We selected the source file. What is the next option? Click on the next. It will ask you the file format. Here also, if you observe this particular file, this one also, it is a comma separated value. It's saved as an extension. And then, so the same columns, when it is coming to the new line, it has to consider as a new row, right? And so these are the columns. Okay, so now here also you need to skip the header one. Header lines to skip is one, because this is not a data. First line is not a data. Same options, right? So we can consider this as a same file format we can use. Let it be. Let's use the same file format,
Hey,
and then,
Dinesh, I have a doubt.
yep.
Yeah, so we are using same file format now, but what
mm,
if we want to skip two lines this time? So
Then we
are
have
we
to
able to
create a
edit
new
it?
file format.
New file format. Okay.
New file format you can create,
Okay.
or if you wanted to edit the existing file format also, you can able to do that. Okay, we'll show
Okay.
you that also. Now
Okay.
see this one, file format created. Now next file format, we selected existing one here. So what is the default option it is selected? This one, right? Based on the selections, if you observe show SQL, what it will do is, this is important. In the next session, we are going to discuss about this particular thing. So if you observe this is the thing what it is doing in the backend. It is, so put file, it kept the file from this particular path, it picked the file and loaded into this particular stage area. From there, copied into, this is a table. From stage, this is a file format which you have given, and then this is the selections what you have done. See this, these are the three-step process. What it will do is, Snowflake, if you wanted to load a file, first the file will be loaded to the stage area first. It will be loaded to the stage. From the stage, it is going to load it to the table. Directly, it will not the load the data directly into the table. First, it will keep the data to the stage, then only it will load the data into the table. If you observe this command also, put command, it has executed in the backend. It means whatever the file it is available in this path, it picked the file and it kept the file into this particular stage area. So we are going to discuss about that. Stage, at this moment, stage means, remember that, just it's a temporary area where we are going to keep the files before processing the data into the table. There is no option without a stage. We cannot load the data into our tables in a Snowflake. Without stage, it is not possible. The first step is file to stage. Second step is, once the file is available in the stage, from stage to the table. This is the second step. See this, we are copying into the, these things will be done in the, taken care in the backend. Copy into the table from where the file is available in the stage. From the stage, you are copying into this particular table. When you are copying into the table, consider this file format which you created, and consider this on error statement. So which is, so we have given a selection here, right? If you observe, this is the selection, right? If I change this, for example, continue loading valid data. See this, what is this? On error equal to continue. See this one, before that abort statement, now it is continue. If I change again, for example, do not load any data in the file, see this, on error equal to skip file, just skip the file, don't do anything, right? So based on whatever the
I have
selections
one
we are
question here.
selecting here. Yes, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I have one question here. Whatever the SQL you are showing, are
Mm,
can we modify that SQL?
yes, we can able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, possible. Okay. Uh, we are going to discuss each and everything. Okay. In between others, if you have any questions also, you can please keep it in the chat window. The end of the session, we are going to discuss all your questions, guys. Don't worry about that. Okay. So now, so the selections, based on the selections, what it is doing, so it is changing the script in the backend, right? Okay. So now, so let it be any one option we will select because it's a valid file, and click on load. What will happen now? The Excel file, how many rows we have, it will pick, and then it will load. See this, how many we have? 8. And then how many it is loaded? 8. Now click OK. Come to the worksheet, refresh it here, right? And then come to the table. See this one, how many it is showing? 12. If you wanted to see the data, just click on preview data. You can able to see it, right? Okay, so what we have understand today, so just, so we created a database. Our requirement is whatever the documents you are seeing here, right? On the everyday session, these folders, it will be uploaded into your like a drive, which is going to share to you, and recorded session also. Along with the recorded session, this folder also it will be available in the drive. So when you are practicing, so make use of this, the scripts, and then so assignments also on everyday basis, a complete folder will be uploaded in your drive. Okay, go through that and then please practice. Now this particular thing what we have done, these two files, whatever the files is available, one is the Excel CSV file, and another one is a normal, the text file with a comma separated value. These files, our requirement is we wanted to load the data into our Snowflake table. For that, what we have done, we have to create a, we have to load the data into the table, means we need to create a table structure. Table should be there. Table will be available in a schema. Schema will be available in database. So what we have done, we created a database here. Going forward, we are going to use the same database for our practice purpose. Where we created a database, we came to the database icon here. Then we clicked on create database option. Then we created a database. Once the database is created, we required a table structure. When you click on the table here, create table option, then we can able to create a table. Once the table is created, we wanted to load the data. To load the data into the table, we select the load table option. Then here we selected the source file. Then we created a file format. Then we have selected the load option. Then the data has been loaded into the table, right? Whatever the file format we created, right? If you observe here, see this one, file format. See this is the file format. If you wanted to modify this file format, if you wanted to edit this file format, just select the file format. You have an option to edit. See this one, right? Or you wanted to like let it be, you wanted to use it every time only for the skip header one and comma delimited, and you wanted to go ahead to create a new file formats, you have an option to create a new file format also here. See this one, right? We can able to do that, right? These are the
గూగుల్
different
డ్రైవ్
options what you
పెట్టుకుంటే
are having.
కాపీ దిగేస్తాం అనుకో సరిపోతుంది.
Please go to the mute, please, right? So clear. So now, so let's come to this one. So whatever we have done, so just we have loaded the data to the table by using the implementation, right? We didn't touch any SQL query here. Just by using the interface options only, we have loaded the data. Okay, so now, so let's, so this is the thing what we have discussed today. So now, so we'll stop it here, and then in the next session we will see the advanced option, how to create a stages, how to work with the stages, and what are the different stages is available. First, like 2 to 3 sessions, right? What we are going to do is just we will see the data loading activities and then how to load the data. And so once we understand each and everything how to implement the things, then remaining things will be very easy to understand. So I'm requesting everyone, so please practice on like a daily basis, at least first week, first like a 5 to 6 sessions you have to practice. Then once you are like
Next month.
the the tool, so you can able to understand the navigation, then it will be easy to understand the other things. We will go so from the starting to the topic. Okay, just a minute please.
നന്ദിയോടെ ഉണ്ടാക്കി
Thank you. Okay, yes, let me come to the chat window for the questions. I can see some of the questions here. Let me answer one by one. Later we'll come to the individual. Cannot see the screen. Okay, sorry for that, it got disconnected in between. Yeah, purge equal to true is coming by default, Divya. There is a reason behind that. We will discuss that. Purge means what it will do is the topic came. So it will going to remove the file once it is loaded the data to the table. That's why the purge option is by default it is selected. But when you are using a copy command manually, we won't use the purge option because it will be removed from the uh, stage area. That is purge equal to true option. Okay, can we
Okay.
change the table structure? Yes, we can able to alter. That is possible. All the SQL commands, it's complete database only, guys. Don't get confused anywhere. Only the thing is all the database queries and whatever the SQL queries we are going to write, we are writing in a cloud environment. That's it. And we have the user interface for so many shortcuts. Okay, so there is no other additional things here. Okay, the
So
everything
I'm
when we are
asking if
working,
after we create a
so
table,
everything we can able to work it here.
after
Yeah,
we create a
sorry.
table and load the data, can we change the
Mm,
structure then? For example, if by mistakenly I've given the wrong data type, so and
mm,
my table is getting error out, can I
mm.
change the structure then?
Once the data is available, then it is difficult. It is not possible. So you need to like create a new like a table structure, and then you need to shift everything from here to there.
Okay, okay. But we don't have any user interface or I mean GUI command
No,
to change. Okay, got it.
we
Thank you.
don't have. Okay, cool. Now I have another question here. My user interface is same even after changing the user profile option in the classic UI. And out and the login after saving the classic UI. Says app.snowflake. Yeah, app.snowflake.com, but your probably what it looks. Yeah, it looks like a different based on your selection, Teja. So what you can do is create a new account, and then there you can like mention that when you are doing the selections in a profile, right? Mention that like a training and certification purpose. Okay. After that, just change the user interface to default one, classic user interface, and then let me know if it is not working. We'll see that. Okay, two different files with columns mismatch. Yeah, Rasikar, I didn't understand this. What you are trying to tell here? Two
Yeah, I
different
have
files with.
two Excel
Mm,
sheets with the
mm,
column names are different actually. First sheet
Oh,
has
okay.
2 columns and the second sheet has
Mm,
5 columns. But four
mm,
columns are both are same.
mm.
One is
One is
additional.
mismatch.
Yes. I want to
We,
omit that one and I have my totally I want four only. That is
okay, got it, got it. Yes, we can able to do that. We have a option, but we need to modify the copy command by using a $1 implementation. That option is there. We will see that examples also. Yeah.
okay. It is possible, no?
So yeah, it is
Yeah.
possible.
Okay.
Can we have two differences? We can duplicate values. Yes, we can able to do that. We can able to remove the duplicate values. We can able to like so update that. So everything is possible. So same like the normal SQL only, we can able to do it here. We can use the group by implementation, or we can use any rank implementation, the dense ranking, whatever it may be. Okay, possible. Mohan, Snowflake does not support Excel file. Is this a limitation specific to the cloud on which? No, so most of the time, right, Manohar, the Excel files, when you are like exporting or when you are like importing also, Excel files is the less preference. Only the CSV file will be a preferences, because Excel file is like a kind of heavy like files. They will consider it, because Excel files will have a number of macro formulas and all those things will be there. But in a CSV file, that will not be there. And one more thing, if you observe, Excel file will struck if you have more than 1 lakh rows. But CSV file, it will support, right? It's a light weighted file. That's why always the preference for the tools will be like CSV file. So we can say that that's a kind of limitation also here. Yeah. For Excel files, see the XLSS file, you need to convert it, then only we have to load. Weekend, no, weekend we don't have classes, guys. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow we don't have. The next class will be on Monday only. No, SQL training. Yes, if you required, I will provide some of the documents and then videos for the SQL. Okay, so please go through that. Yeah. Okay, Divya. So once your account is created, you have only worksheets, not maybe that is for the snow site implementation. So you are telling that, so this all the like futures is not available, right?
Yes, Dinesh.
Okay, so for that, like this one will be your the snow site implementation. What we have to do is this one you are getting, right?
Yes, yes, I'm getting the same.
Yeah. So what you have to do is here, if you observe, go to this, go to the profile, and then default
Okay,
experience, right? Change the default experience from snow site to classic UI. After that,
okay,
click on a save. Okay, and then give
okay,
the comment, right? So for the practice so purpose, I'm using the classic UI. Okay, and then save it. After that, sign out and then try to log in one more time.
okay,
Okay,
Dinesh. Thank you.
this one will come as a app.snowflake.com here. See this one. Okay, but this one is this a your
Okay,
account. Okay. Yes, Manohar. So we are going to discuss that. So just it is a any cloud environment. So it is a same. There is no difference when you are utilizing only the pricing, right? The cons will be only the like a pricing difference. That's it. For example, if you are using GCP, then they are going to charge very high. If you are using Azure, moderate charges. If they are using AWS, the charges is very less, and it is available in most of the regions. And then second will be Azure, and then GCP will be the limited regions, like 4 to 5 regions only GCP is supporting.
Hey, Dinesh, this is Mohan Krishna here.
Yeah, Mohan.
So, it looks like, I mean, by looking at the file formats and how
Mm,
the
mm,
options are being taken, so it
mm,
looks like all the information that we are providing through UI,
mm,
they're being stored as a tables only, right? In the same
correct. Yes,
database.
yes.
So
Mm, mm, mm.
that's why we are managing the same UI options, everything through SQL options.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
True. In the next session also what we are going to do is we are going to see the same things in by using a SQL options only. We are going to write a queries and then we will see that. Okay, we have the
Okay,
both
okay.
the things,
So
but some of
every
the limited options is available in UI, and then in SQL you can able to do everything.
okay, okay. So but we can't see those tables in the schema and under the schema listing.
Which tables? You are
File
talking about
format.
file formats.
File formats.
File format is not a table structure, right? If you observe here, so whatever the thing you are going to create, this is a table, right? The table
Yeah.
you can able to see it here, right? Table name you can able to see it. For example, see this table name you can see. But if you create a view, you can able to see this here. These are the
Yeah.
information schema views by default views. And then if you observe the schema is available. If you observe the file format which you created, it is available under file format.
Yeah.
But
If
this
you
file format, you cannot see that in a worksheet. Worksheet
yeah,
only you
that's
can
what
able to
mine.
see only the tables and then views.
Yeah,
Remaining
but the
everything it
information
will
is
not.
being stored as a table only, but that is
Exactly.
available for the internal Snowflake
Correct.
operations only, but
Exactly.
not for the
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
So if we modify, if you need to
Mm,
modify them again, I mean we can run the query
we
to
can do
modify
that.
those tables. Okay.
Yep. True.
And the table information has been like shown, right? Like metadata, number
Yes.
of rows and everything. It looks
Yes.
like
Yes. Exactly. Mm,
BQ has the similar
Oh, okay.
functionalities. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Any other questions? I can see hand raised by Spurti. Yes, Spurti, tell me. Any questions, Spurti? Okay,
Hi
yes. Any
there.
other
So
questions
sorry,
from
I was
anyone?
on mute.
Yeah, Spurti, tell me.
Uh, so, uh, so can we use, I mean, like in Informatica or any other ETL tools to load
Mm.
data into Snowflake? So
Yes, we
is it
can do that. All the ETL
okay?
tools, all the reporting tools, it will be supported. If you observe here, see this one here, we have a partner connect, right? If you click on a partner connect, this is a like open source tools, free trial versions. So Snowflake has created a partner connects. So with these tools, for example, if you observe, so Alt-N, Altrex, and then see this somewhere you asked Informatica, right? So
Yeah.
and then material, but there is a limitation here. If it is like less than 1 billion row per month, then only it is free. So after that, the Informatica you have to like the license, it will be licensed like Matillion, all this the in it's ETL tools. Some are like a click view reporting tools, right? Snap Logic, right? Talent is again ETL tool. So
Right.
ETL and then reporting. So all the like tools interface, Snowflake has given a partner connect. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
If it is
Thanks very
required,
much.
so we can integrate with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
I have one.
Yes, Manoj.
Is this virtual warehouse?
Mm, mm.
Is this something like virtual RAM and the virtual CPU? Is it kind
Yeah,
of a thing?
exactly. We can consider that the virtual warehouse as a virtual CPU, and the virtual RAM exactly means we have a kind of clusters within that CPU. Within a
Mm-hmm.
CPU, you will have a RAM, right? The same
Mm,
way, if you observe here, uh, it will take some time to understand. That's why we didn't like touch this one. Anyway, we are
okay.
going to discuss this later. See this one. This is a like size, right? This is a,
Mm,
for example, let's assume CPU. And here, if you observe the clusters, right? This
mm,
is, let's assume that this is kind of RAM, increasing then 1 to 10, right?
mm,
So based on the like performance, based on the load, automatically it is going to increase the cluster from 1 to 10. Okay, this is,
mm,
you can consider this as a servers. How many servers? The size is increasing means from extra small to this, we will call it as a t-shirt sizes. Each and every t-shirt size, when it is increasing, so we can consider that the servers is increasing in the backend. Okay, anyway, we will come to this later.
okay.
Partner Connect, it's like most of the projects they are using. It depends. Some using DB2, and then some using Matillion, some using already if they have like any ETL2 license, they are going with the existing one like Informatica or Talent, whatever it may be. But most of the guys preferring for the open sources only. It's not mandatory, guys. Teradata, there is no default one. So if you want, we can create kind of connectivities or JDBC connectivities or ODBC like integrations we can build.
Sir, may I leave the class now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's almost done. Yeah. If you don't have any questions, guys, yeah, we can wind up the session, and we'll meet you on Monday,
Hey,
same time.
Dinesh, one last question here.
Yes, yes.
So you mentioned when a file is being loaded into the Snowflake. So you mentioned first it loads into the stage and then finally it commits that data into Snowflake, right? Is that stage maintained by us, or it is internally maintained by the Snowflake itself?
Yeah, internally maintained by Snowflake itself. Also, just it's a area where it is available. For example, let's say if the file is having any errors, or if you wanted to clean the file, and if you wanted to ignore all the unnecessary things from the file, there has Snowflake has given kind of stage area that is a
Oh, it's
staging.
a temporary location. That's it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
We will see that in the next session onwards. We will see about the stages. So how to work with the stages, how the data will be loaded into that.
Okay.
Dinesh, one last question.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, would you be covering some example?
Yeah, I saw that question. I don't have anything handy for this, but we are seeing like from like kind of file systems from AWS to like a Snowflake, Azure to Snowflake, and all those things. Especially related to Teradata, I will try to like so get the things in handy if it is possible. So we will try it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Dinesh, one last question. So,
Yes.
when we're trying to create a table, so we are creating in one of the public clouds, right?
Correct.
The one which you have selected. Okay.
No. So public cloud is only for storing the data, storage and everything. It will be there, and then whatever we are doing, everything you can consider that it is in a Snowflake only. But the backend it will be stored there. Whatever the table, the storages you are like seeing the storage, it will be there in a public cloud. Okay, but everything within the Snowflake itself.
Okay, so I got it. So whatever if you want to access the data, we have to go via Snowflake only, but we cannot access.
Exactly.
Got
Yeah.
it. And
You will not have any
so
control on that cloud in
got it.
implementations. Yeah.
Okay, the stage is something related to Snowflake. The stage is we are using the stage only to avoid the cost, or the stage
No, to
generated
couple of
from.
reasons. One is to not exactly the avoid the cost, to avoid unnecessary like the activities and then unnecessary data. And if you wanted to clean up something, unnecessary things is available in a file. We wanted to clean up before loading the data, and so unnecessary files came into the picture. So we need to validate which one I have to load. You have to select that. For example, the inbound team or your source team, they send some 20 files. In that, everything is not a valid one. You need to choose only 3 to 4 files. Then
Right.
so we have an option of the stage. First it will come to the stage. Once you validate it, if it is good to load, then only we will load it.
Okay, the stage is something which is in
Temporary area
Snowflake.
in Snowflake. Yeah.
Okay, got it, got it.
Yeah,
So
since
stage
you
is not
mentioned
related to anything related to the cloud storage services, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, thanks.
So you have mentioned the rollback as well. So probably the stage area might help to roll back easily, right? Before
Yep.
it is committing
Yes,
to the
we can
main
do
table.
that. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, anyways. Can you please share these recorded videos and the other stuff?
Yeah, all these things, organizer. So you can. So please approach the organizer. He's creating the group and then a WhatsApp group also, and
Oh,
then
okay.
he
Okay.
will share the completed drive access and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And I can see some question from Manoj, the job market for the Snowflake with ADF, Snowflake with Informatica, or Snowflake with ADF. Both are good, Manoj. It's good. And so with the combination of anything is fine. Okay. Yeah, both are good. Today's
Dinesh,
example,
can we
metadata, table columns are saved in Snowflake. Data records will be saved in the cloud example. Kiran, we can consider that when it is storing, everything will be stored in Snowflake tables only. But the backend from the Snowflake, how it is managing their architecture in the backend, especially coming to the storage layer, that will be come to the AWS part.
Yesterday, when you write a
Mm,
query for a select count star,
correct, correct.
it's shown like a zero
That will be
usage.
from the cloud services. That is nothing but a metadata layer. Mm,
Yeah. So I was under impression that metadata
mm.
would be stored in some Snowflake and the data would be stored in the virtual warehouse that we are creating in the cloud.
No, 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 no. So metadata will be stored in the cloud services layer, and then data will be stored in a storage layer.
Both in
In
cloud only.
between interface, both in cloud. In between the interface, what you are seeing here, this
Mhm.
is from Snowflake. This
Ah,
is related to Snowflake. Okay.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dinesh,
guys. Thank you.
do we have a session on architecture?
Yes, we have. We are
Okay,
going to
cool.
discuss that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, guys. Thank you all.
Thank
See you
you.
on Monday. Happy weekend. Yeah.
You too.
Bye.
Happy weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you all.